I want to give a shout out to two of my viewers. Username GKPFA2007 and BenBen7. The question is, why do I switch from driving a private hire to a taxi? Hi, for those who are new, I'm Eddie, 40 years old taxi driver in Singapore. Thank you for joining the channel. Today I'm going to discuss about the difference between private hire and taxi and why do I choose one over another. So back in the day, I made a conscious choice to drive private hire over taxi. But why? Because private hire at that time gave me the impression that it is more beginners friendly. Since I was new, right? More casual, so less stressful and definitely less intimidating than taxi. I mean, if you get inside a taxi, you expect the driver to be very streetwise, right? Know their road, know where to find the best food, you know? So it is very difficult for a new driver to carry that kind of expectation to drive. So that's why I chose driving as a private hire that time. And I drove for different platforms Gojek, Tada. That time Tada was new. And I mean, it's not new, it's not very well known, right? Unlike now. Also, of course, Grab, just Grab, right? So getting into it, I remember there's a lot of new things like understanding incentive, understanding the trip count, cancellation rate, acceptance rate, ratings in general. So a lot of things in my head and still need to multitask driving, fetching passenger. It is quite a ride But I remember the good thing about Grab, right? It allows me to learn, right? Learn on the road, learn the system, how it works, point-to-point services. Because I came from a corporate background, So getting into the new industry, so this private hire is still okay And that time I remember when I started out, there's still dedicated hotline. So any problem we can just call in, and there's somebody behind that line, guiding us. So that time is still okay. Yeah. But what prompted me to skip, to swap from private hire to taxi, right? I think is quite a lot of things. Okay, let's start with one, right? For private hire, right, the commission. Let's talk about the commission. The commission rate was a bit demoralizing, no? So for example, you drove a passenger $20, right? 20% goes to the passengers minus this and that processing fee. So you actually take back how much only. So although when you accept the job, wow, very shook the feeling. But when you see your wallet, right, the digital wallet in your app, is not a very good feeling. Yeah. So that's one. Commission is high. Although Tada make it somewhat easier, but it's a totally different ball game right? I'm not going to touch on that. So that's commission. The other thing about just Grab, when I started out, right, is the feeling that I'm tied down by the platforms. So what do I mean by that? Because initially I thought driving as a private hire, I have more time because I was still exploring my option. When I started private hire, I was thinking, okay, maybe I take this lowest hanging fruit first, drive and see how's the earning like. Then in the meanwhile, send application to jobs to companies and see if I get any meaningful reply. Go for job interview and so forth. But I found that by driving flexible hours, I cannot earn much. So to have a decent earning, I need to drive many hours. This I found out after a couple of months, right? I found out I cannot just drive suka 4 hours, 5 hours, siu gang, call it a day. I can't. I mean, maybe I can cover a bit of petrol, this and that, but to earn a decent earning is a different story. So that I was quite disappointed with the earnings. So I do realize that to be serious in private hire, I need to drive. And climbing up the tiers is not easy. For those who are not in this industry, tiers are there different sort of like levels, a bracket that you can reach. And for Grab, you have like Sapphire, Emerald, Ruby, or whatever. Diamond tier is the highest, right? So if you reach certain tier, you're given priority to booking. Meaning what? A good fare booking comes in, it gives it to the diamond player first, right? So then the Ruby, the Emerald will kill those lanjiao fare lah. Sorry, those LJ LJ fare, the bad fares that nobody wants. So what I mean is, if you don't hit the high level tier, right, it's very difficult to get good earnings. And for that to happen, you need to drive a lot of hours, right? So that really made me a bit upset lah, and sort of like upset in a way it does not meet my expectation. So I feel tied down. I need to drive. So even though people say, yeah, you can try different platforms, right, swap between Gojek and all this, but that means giving out an incentive. Because to hit incentive, to get incentive bonus, extra money from the platform, they reward those who is loyal, the drivers that are loyal to the platform. So the more you drive, for example, you need to do 300 trips to hit don't know how much incentive. That means you have to drive a lot of hours for that platform, right? Those who can drive multiple platforms means they are doing it on manual accept. That means they cherry pick lah. So it's a different form of or type of driving. I'm also not going to go in that. Maybe other videos lah. But my point is, I become very tied down. I feel like I don't have freedom. Now I become is really a full-time job, not part-time. I can't drive part-time because I do not own the car, right? And I need to cover my rental and petrol. I need to bring food to the table also. I got debt to pay, bills to pay. So, stress very stressed. That's when I started to look for other alternative besides private hire. And I remember during that time, I still didn't get any reply from my job application, So very stressed. I up to now I still can feel the heart beating in my heart. Panic, really panic because deadlines, bills, debts, nearing bankruptcy already. Quite serious at that time. My family a lot of adjustment. So I was like pushing, okay, do this first, do that first, priority. But I feel PHV cannot bring me through that times because there are so many. I'm still winding down the company. Winding down, don't just say, I want to close out a company. No, there's actually a lot of back procedure, right? So I cannot afford lah. So that's why I open up my options and think of other things. That's when I was introduced to taxi lah. And so I started to drive for taxi as a relief night driver. Then I have a very strange realization. I realized that passengers treat me a little bit differently when I was a private hire than I was a taxi driver. I don't know, it's because by that time I have a little bit of experience already. But the feeling was like passengers from private hire platforms tend to be more blunt, more straightforward, so they sound a little bit more rude or impatient. But whereas taxi, right, passengers when they board the taxi, they tend to be chill lah. Like after I confirm the address or the destination, they just leave the rest up to me. So I have this very strange feeling. Is it passenger view taxis, driver and private hire differently? Well, guys, if you are passengers and you do regularly take ride platform or taxis to work or to wherever, let me know in the comments below. At least I know I'm not imagining things. So yeah, that's one strange realization I got when I started taxi. But the main thing I felt when I switched to taxi is the feeling of I'm more liberated. What do I mean? more liberated in the sense that I'm not being slave to a particular platform, be it Gojek, be it Tada, be it Grab. But I'm free to choose when I want to do platform jobs and when do I want to do street hail. So I feel that I'm more or less in charge, of my earnings and my time. So take for example, heavy rain. Is very raining very heavily during the peak hours, early in the morning. So in that kind of situation, what I'll do is I'll switch off my comfort ride. Meter fare. So meter fare services under Grab, I'll switch it off. I'll leave my comfort ride Zig app on and see if there is any surcharge, surge fares, right? And then I'll also switch on my Just Grab services from Grab and see if there's only surge fares, right? Because times like this, the demand is very high, not enough driver. So there tends to be a very high surge, right? Of course, during the lull period when the peak period is over, I will switch off the Just Grab services and switch on back the normal Just Grab services and comfort ride lah. So what that means is I'm not tied down. I have the freedom, right, to play around. I become the player, yeah, not the platforms trying to control, right? So that's the change in feeling I got when I swapped to taxi. And actually that's a very important factor, that explain why I'm still driving taxi. If you can feel me, right, what I'm trying to say is the freedom to choose your job as a taxi driver. Now, for those who do not know, right, if you are on Grab, your cancellation and acceptance ratings is different, right? It's calculated differently from your Just Grab and Just Taxi. So that's a big major plus point, meaning what? You got two different ratings to play with. That means you can cherry pick more, right? Cherry pick more, that means you can do manual accept. Meaning what? Meaning you have more choices when it comes to picking your trips. Also, not forgetting that taxi drivers, we can street hail, right? Meaning if really no job, really quiet on the road, instead of going back and sleep, we go to a taxi stand, airport, just queue up there, relax, chill, and wait for a passenger to hop on. So yeah, so the flexibility difference is, for me, is quite big. And that's the main reason why I switched to taxi and stay as a taxi driver. So does that mean that private hire is no good and taxi is the only way to go? No, I'm not trying to say that. This video's intention is to showcase the perspective of somebody who has driven both taxi and private hire before, right? And my intention is to show my thought process when deciding one over another, right? So after watching the video, I hope that you can go back, put your pillow high and think, what's the best for you? You be the judge, you be in control. I think this video is quite relevant now because looking at the recent drama, Grab unilaterally just changed the street bonus, or the incentive count. That has significant impacts on the drivers, right? Of course, they are allowed to do that. They are a private organization. They need to maximize their profit. That I understand. But the thing is, in a gig economy, one little move you make, right, it has significant impacts on so many people. They rely on your platform to put food on the table. Not just hundreds or thousands, tens of thousands in Singapore alone. So yes, I understand they are doing this maybe to push more private hire towards taxi, the new Grab taxi, right? So with the lower incentive, the lower earnings, they hope more young people can join taxi. But isn't it so ironic that when they join this game, right, this transport point to point, they want to kill the taxi by providing app platforms, convenience, but now they are joining the taxi. How ironic. Yeah, that's beside the point. But I hope you understand where I'm coming from. Yeah, go and interview more drivers and understand what's the plus point and the pros and cons between private hire and taxi, and then decide for yourself. Right? I really hope this video helps you. If you have any questions or topic you think I missed, please put it in the comments below. I do read each and every comment. Right? I might not reply immediately because I'm driving, and I usually do it at night when reading comments. So please bear with me. Other than that, if you think you have different views, please, good or bad, put it down in the comments. Let's have a good discussion. Till then, guys, please stay safe, be strong. Let's all push forward together. We are in it together. Right, I'll see you in my next video. Ciao.